Welcome back to the Real News Network. I'm Paul Jay, coming to you today from Washington. And joining us from London to discuss the war in Afghanistan and the battle in Marja is Mohammed Junaid. He's a PhD student in London. He comes from Peshawar, Pakistan. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you for having me.
So Mohammed, what do you hear about the battle in Marja?
The sources from the media and the sources, in Peshawar and other places whom we talk to normally, and those people who travel back from Afghanistan, the summary of the situation is that what NATO and ANA, the Operation Mushtarak, wanted to project is rather slow, although there is success. The on-ground situation has very conflicting reports. Those people who have come from that place have normally indicated that there are enough civilian casualties to call it a bloody war. On the other hand, if you look at the embedded journalists or whatever is coming out controlled from that area, that shows a very rosy picture. However, it should be considered that there has to be some violence, some amount of violence.
Well, is the number of civilian deaths such that the whole thing's becoming counterproductive from the point of view of the Americans?
Yes, I think we have to look at it from multiple perspectives. This is not a population waiting for an American and NATO forces to come here and get them rid of Taliban. This impression is very similar to the impression that was given when the Americans and British went to Iraq, that people there are waiting to get rid of Saddam Hussein. There is nothing like that in Marja. Even in Iraq it was a partial picture that was shown, but in Marja there is nothing like that. So these people are not waiting to be freed or something. However, a very important point is to know the geography and the area, how it works. According to the military personnel who went there, the British military personnel, they record that in summers the temperature goes to 55 degrees centigrade, and in winters it can go below 0 to minus 20 degrees centigrade. They also have said that the jungles around the Helmand River are as green as the jungles of Malaya and Vietnam. However, Helmand has a vast plain of deserts as well. So this is a place which has a very complex geography, and it is not easy to wage a guerrilla war there. It will be a long battle, and if the guerrillas lose, it should be expected that they will go and they will rest in thick forests for years.
Now in Afghanistan, there's sort of two levels of reporting and two levels of the society and economy. There's the sort of official conversation that goes on, and then there's the maybe real conversation, which is the drug conversation and the drug economy. We know that Marja is in the center of a lot of poppy growing. Talk about the politics of drugs and this battle.
We have to again look into history a little bit, and it's all available on internet, although the sources are very few, because I don't know, somehow all those sources will come to you which are being projected more. Helmand River is, and Helmand is one of the greenest area, if you take it, around the Helmand River. And Helmand Valley project was one of the projects that was launched by Americans. And in 1960s, it was supposed to grow cotton in this area, and it was supposed to be one of the biggest project around, the biggest technical project in that time. Somehow, the irrigation system worked, and it was successful from that dimension. However, it was a failure in terms of growing cotton, because all that irrigation system was diverted to poppy growing. Because they could grow it there. That was, the beginning of that. Although poppy was being grown but not at this level. So now, it produces 42% of all the poppy crop in Afghanistan, which is a big percentage. Now, Helmand has, a big population, almost 25% population consists of a Pashtun tribe, which is called Alizais. So Alizai tribe is present in Helmand. They are also in Kandahar. They are in Balochistan, in Pakistani and in Iranian Balochistan as well.
Mohammed, when you say tribe, how many people are we talking about that would be considered part of this tribe?
Now, a tribe also, has levels. As you say, levels. So we should be, conscious of that. There are those people who are drug lords who control the things. They may be, around a few thousand. And then they have, those who depend on them. that may be up to 500,000 people in that tribe. But this tribe is pretty important from the respect of poppy growing. They would not want the real development to come there even, because they have a hold there. They are drug lords. They are earning a huge amount of money, and people there are living by that money as well. So there is a local economy to that. So you can expect a huge amount of resistance from them. One should be cautious to look at it. Uh, the touch of caution is that they will expect NATO and INA to be there for 6 months or a year or 1.5, so they can bear it for some time. But then later on it can explode into something, because they would not want their poppy thing going out of hand.
Much of the Afghan army is Uzbek and Tajik, and much of that army is riddled with connections to warlords, and some, as far as I know, some of the soldiers even do double duty in terms of working part-time for warlords and part of the army. How does that affect the issue of the drug politics here?
When I analyze it, let's do a stakeholder analysis of that. There are different parties with different stakes, and that can be they can make the situation understandable for us. There is ANA, the Afghan National Army, which is represented by Tajiks and Uzbeks largely. There are the Taliban who want their lost government to come back to them. They want their government back. They want their rule. There is US and NATO who want to develop that place and win the hearts and minds of the people. And there are drug lords. Now, drug lords is the most persistent species, I think, because they can be in Afghan National Army, they can be seen with Karzai, they can be seen from among the Alizai tribes, they can be seen from among Taliban even. So they are the most persistent group in that. Each group in here has their own benefits to take, their own stakes. The Tajiks and Uzbeks will obviously want to eradicate the poppy. That will give them an upper hand in the long run over Pashtuns. In monetary terms.
Because they would still have poppy up north.
They will have poppy up north, exactly. As I said, the Alizai tribes, which is the strongest tribe here, they have, a lot of stakes in drugs as well. But now there is, a drug war going on in this. These drug lords will be pitted against the drug lords, which are, from the northern Afghanistan, the Tajiks and Uzbeks. And again, this will become a corporate war from that dimension. From the local dimension, if you tell people to go and ask for your money from NATO and ANA and take their support, rather than having your own indigenous poppy and having your own money, that will create a shift.
The Alizai tribe, what is their relationship to the Taliban?
Their relationship with Taliban is, you can expect that they're all Pashtuns, so there will be some of them who will be siding with Taliban, but they will surely, Taliban would surely have allowed them to grow the poppy crop. And they will be, sharing some riches, no doubt in that. That's, a natural thing, because a lot of poppy is coming out of that, and that place was controlled by Taliban. So they have naturally allowed them to grow and, share the money somehow.
So the Battle of Marja is really taking place in the context of a much bigger drug war.
It's a much bigger drug war. I can imagine that, it will also flood back into Balochistan, one of the very vast provinces of Pakistan, which is largely out of control these days. It is, also rife by insurgency and with law and order situation. I think, there are many factors that are uncontrollable that will come out. And, you can see Taliban showing their power, once in a while. They went into Kabul and, killed 17 people, most of them Indians. So they showed, they can do anything they want, but they will do it when they want to. So they would, rather like to hide in the forests of Helmand and come out, when they can, take on Kabul.
And of course, the American media portrays this as the U.S. sort of above all of this drug war fray, but they've actually just decided which drug lords and warlords to ally with against other drug wars.
If you look at it from an independent dimension, it is bad, that U.S. sides with a drug lord. But if you look at it from the U.S.'s from angle, the problem is all the powerful people, or most of them are drug lords. So you have to, talk to somebody. You cannot take the whole country on.
Thanks for joining us, Junaid.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.